So you are playing in some sort of Masters pool, whether that be with your family or in your office, and you have no idea who to select for each tier. You don't follow golf that much, or maybe you do, but you're not good at knowing which golfers are going to play well that week. Well, good for you. I typically do, so let's go ahead and get into the best picks in each tier for your Masters pool. Now, I'm going to be basing this video off of these tiers. Yours might be slightly different. I know every kind of different Masters pools that are out there do slightly different things, but for the most part, it's going to be based off of world rankings for the most part. Now, again, it can be a little bit different, but this is what I'm going to be basing my video off of. So we go ahead and jump on into tier 1. Now, this is going to be using my 9 to 5 cheat sheet, which is for most of you guys, maybe you don't get into fantasy golf too much. This is just a curated breakdown of which golfers are going to be the best plays, breaking it down into course history, key stats for that week, recent form over the past 4 starts, but also 7 starts, and then just putting that all into one data point. That's what the MDL rank is going to be, the model rank. So that's really what we're going to be concentrating on. Now, the simple answer to tier 1 is going to be to just play Scotty Scheffler. It really depends on the pool that you're playing in. If a lot of people have a decent golf knowledge, I would assume everyone would be picking Scotty Scheffler. And maybe he doesn't finish top 5. Maybe someone else in this range ends up finishing better than him, which could happen. Don't get me wrong, but he is the safest of this group to be choosing for tier 1. So for the most part, play it safe here, play Scotty Scheffler. Now, maybe you are trying to gain some leverage on the field. Maybe you're worried that he's going to be too popular. Maybe 90% of people are just going to pick him because they know what they're doing. Well, next, people are probably going to pick Jon Rahm, but Jon Rahm's been playing on the LIV Tour, playing well there, don't get me wrong, but we don't know exactly what to expect from him. If you wanted to go with him next, I get that. I personally don't want to recommend that. I would say you could get a little bit more unique. Not that many people are going to be on Xander Schauffele, even though that they should be. Xander Schauffele has been in the mix to win at this tournament in the past, just 3 starts ago at this tournament. Okay, 3rd place finish. We know he's in the driver's seat up until I think it was hole 15, and then just kind of let it get away from him. Missed the cut the following year, but then a top 10 place finish at this tournament last year. Love that there from him. We look at his recent form: 5th, 2nd, 25th, 4th, 54th, 9th, 3rd, 10th. So over his past 8 starts, 6 top 10 finishes. I mean, that is elite. He's the 2nd best pick in the 9 to 5 model because he's a really good staff and been playing well in the PGA Tour. Also, he has 42 straight made cuts. That's a big factor that goes into my data, but he's a logical choice as well. And then Hideki, actually the lowest end golfer in this tier, really pops as a good play as well. Now, he's a former winner here, been playing extremely well over his past few starts, 7th, 6th, and 12th place finish. So to me, to answer this in tier 1, easy enough. You go with Scotty Scheffler. If you don't want to go Scotty Scheffler, a lot of people are probably just going to go with Rahm. You could do that, but I would suggest Xander. And then if you really want to get unique, you could go with Hideki. Now, tier 1 is pretty easy to me. Tier 2 is going to be a little bit more difficult, and we'll get into that right now. Now, tier 2 is definitely interesting because I feel like a lot of the golfers in this range have a lot more name value than game value heading into the Masters tournament. And so again, it could be a potential edge spot for you guys in your player pools or in your pools. So looking at it, we got Justin Thomas. I feel like he's going to be a popular name for everyone. I don't think we should be getting there. Same thing with Dustin Johnson. His best result of this tournament was in 2020 when he won, but that tournament played a lot differently because it played in the fall. It was much easier. He's a player that I think we can cross off. And then Hovland, kind of a decent name value. He's the logical choice, highest world rank. If you look at like DraftKings prices, which is what this is, the salary. That's what that is, DraftKings DFS pricing. He's the top dog there. And then odds-wise as well, you could just look at it based off of that, who you could choose. Aubert is actually going to be the best one. If we look at the 9 to 5 model, we actually have a slightly different choice. That's going to be Cameron Smith. And I do worry that he might have a little bit of name value. But the tournament here, guys, the Masters tournament, on Thursday and Friday, the wind could end up playing a big factor. It's supposed to get up to 50-mile-per-hour winds consistently with gusts up to 25. If that does occur, kind of the clear-cut choice based off how he plays in windy conditions is Cameron Smith. Now, he is a LIV golfer. We don't exactly know how to account for starts data-wise on LIV Golf. I mean, I do. I just don't think we have a big enough sample size to go ahead and use that just yet. Still, he's kind of the clear-cut choice here. Now, if you want to get different, you could go Tony Finau, who's had some pretty good results at this tournament. He's made 4 straight cuts here, really strong staff hit, which is what this data is, and then coming in off his 2nd place finish. But his form compared to everyone else, just not as good. Aubert making his first start here as a pro, I think he's a good play. I think you could just go with him. I'd be fine with him as well. He does have some experience playing at Augusta as well, but for me, it's going to be Cameron Smith, then Tony Finau, then Aubert. If you want to go Hovland, I get that. That's an easy choice as well. He just has not been playing as well recently. I want to be targeting those golfers that have been playing pretty well. So far, my picks for you guys: tier 1, Scotty; tier 2, Cameron Smith. I mean, pretty simple so far. Let's go ahead and get into tier 3. All right, guys. So tier 3, Max Homa, Brian Harman, Tigala, Jason Day, Sam Burns, Cameron Young, Shane Lowry, Tommy Fleetwood, Mingwoo Lee, and Terrell Hatton. To me, this is probably one of the easier ranges, I would say, because I don't think a lot of people are going to be on the player I'm going to recommend to you guys. And so, yeah, looking at this tier, guys, the next tier, Shane Lowry is kind of the easy one. Not only when we look at it by odds, he currently has the best odds to win, which is something you guys can just roll with, but he also is coming in as the 7th best pick in the 9-5 model, which measures both safety and upside. So we look at his starts at this tournament, all spectacular, all top 25 finishes, which from this point on, you would be happy with a top 25 place finish, because the lower you go down on those tiers list, the worse the golfers are. Essentially, again, that's not exactly true, but that's what we're looking at. Really strong staff at top 10 or better in all the key stats for the week. And then just strong recent form, 5 straight make cuts in a row, 20th, 3rd, and 4th over his past 3. Just love that there from him. Now, if you don't want to roll with him, you got plenty of other fine options. It does get a little bit more difficult after that, like Tommy Fleetwood, Tigala, Cameron Young, and even Terrell Hatton would be options you could roll with. But to me, keep it simple. Go with Shane Lowry. It's the correct choice on paper. So we look at the next tier here, guys. It's going to be Adam Scott, Tiger Woods. A lot of fun there with Tiger Woods, but we're not picking him, just as an FYI. Sanjay M, Tom Kim, Justin Rose, Russell Henley, Siwoo Kim, Corey Connors, Patrick Reed, and Ricky Fowler. This is actually probably the most difficult tier to choose from. No joke. So yes, tier number 4. A lot of people are going to be tempted to play probably Justin Rose, Tiger Woods, Adam Scott based off of name value. Heck, Ricky Fowler as well based off of name value. As it currently sits, those are all terrible options. Okay. I would love to tell you guys Tiger Woods is a great option. I would love to tell you guys that Tiger Woods is going to finish the event and make the cut. We just can't do that. That'd be reckless for me. If you guys want to choose him, I get it. Go ahead and do that. Not a good choice though. Let other people make that mistake. But really, we got to look at it in terms of which golfers are the best fits for this tournament this week. And to me, the clear-cut choice to me is going to be Corey Connors. Corey Connors has made 16 cuts on the PGA Tour straight. Okay, that is phenomenal. Last week, he finished top 25. He also had 13th, 18th place finish. He has been a safe and consistent golfer. The biggest worry with him data point wise is that he missed the cut at this event last year. But prior to that, he had a 6th, 8th, and 10th place finish. Again, when we get lower down on those tiers, they're just not as good of options. But Corey Connors is looking like a great option this week. So he, to me, is the best option there. Siwoo Kim would be the next best one, and then Russell Henley and Patrick Reed. The issue with Russell Henley is that he's very much hit or miss. He could give a 4th place finish to you guys like he's done 2 out of his past 3 starts on the PGA Tour, and also like he did at this tournament recently. But to me, that's not that safe. He probably does have the most upside, though, out of this group. But I could see Corey Connors winning as well. So I don't want to say that too much. Patrick Reed has had phenomenal starts at this tournament. 4 straight make cuts, and 3 of those have been top 10 finishes. So love that there from him. But yeah, it's really those top 4. I'm going with Corey Connors. So jumping into tier 5, pretty easy for me who I want to be on there. Yeah, it's really not a difficult choice. It's going to actually be, I'll give it a little tease. It's going to be Harris English. The biggest issue with him is coming in off of a missed cut. And so looking at tier number 5, here are the golfers that are popping up in there. And this is where we maybe get a little bit different than what Vegas is thinking. And even if we sort it by DraftKings scoring, which again, that's probably one of the more popular brands out there for fantasy betting and whatnot. Jaeger is the highest priced player. He technically is the best pick in the model as well. I just don't love the fact that he doesn't have any course history. And then if we look at name value wise, some people are probably going to be on Phil Mickelson. His start here, especially when you compare it to his live starts heading into the Masters last year, was extremely random. He's part of the reason as to why I mentioned that the live golfers also we have from last year's majors, especially the Masters, are seemingly not something we need to look at just yet because we don't have enough data sample size, because his form heading into that tournament was bad if you just look at the live golf starts, and then he finished 2nd. Awesome stuff there from him, from lefty, but it's just too risky. I don't feel the need to do that. Now, I would argue that he played extremely well last year because he was extremely motivated to play well. I don't know if that's exactly there this year. I think he's pretty content with where live golf is at, I would assume. To me, the choice to me is going to be Harris English, just because he does have that course history. Now, he missed the cut last week at the Valero Texas Open, was actually a terrible finish. Up until really the last 4 holes there, it looked like Harris English was going to make the cut. And then he was on the bad side of a weather draw as well, but it never seemed like he was really going to miss the cut up until really hole 16. And it just seemed like he started to press the situation. Hole 15, probably mad at himself. Hole 16, really mad at himself. And then 17's like, all right, well, I already missed the cut, whatever. And then, yeah, just kind of unraveled there. So I would say when we're looking at this data, I don't want to say we can ignore that. We definitely have to factor it in there, but at the same time, whatever. Like, it's just, again, when we get lower down the tiers, they're not going to be as good of options. And so he is someone that certainly makes a ton of sense as well. Definitely happy to use him this week. Denny McCarthy has been someone that's been playing well. Runner up last week. He got hot. I don't feel the need to roster him. So let's go ahead and move on then into the last tier. Again, probably easy to pick out who we should be on in the last tier. So this last tier, we have a massive list here. Okay, tier 6. It's really kind of more concentrated as to who we should be on for that tier. I am only going to put in the little thing I've been showing you guys. I'm only going to put in the golfers that are actually good options here. And so when we're looking at this, I'm just going to sort it by the model rank. I don't really care about the odds really at all, but if you guys want to factor in there, you can as well. So to me, I kind of trimmed it down in terms of which golfers are in that tier. But if you want to look at it by like Vegas odds as well, Chris Kirk is kind of the standout play, but he also is tied with Taylor Moore as well. So again, if you're playing in a pool where people are maybe a little bit sharper, Taylor Moore would probably be the option there because a lot of people might just go off of Vegas odds. Like if they're really dialed in, don't use Chris Kirk, use Taylor Moore to get a little bit of leverage, but they're essentially the same plays on paper. Taylor Moore has actually played better recently. Run-up finishes in his most recent start, 14 straight made cuts, but Chris Kirk is going to be a slightly better stat fit. He has a more long-term history of being a solid golfer, whereas Taylor Moore might just be getting a little bit hot. They both have made a cut here, last year at the Masters, both going to be good options. And then Austin Eckroat as well, decent play. I feel like it's between these two here. All right, so again, getting into the picks here. My picks are going to be Scotty Scheffler, okay? No need to get too different with that. He's just the correct play. Then we're going to get into Cameron Smith. Again, people are probably like, well, this is nothing here. You're giving me the two easiest plays. That's fine. We get a little bit unique here with Shane Lowry. I don't think that many people are going to be on him. For tier 4, that's where we do get a little bit unique. Going to be going with Corey Connors. Pretty easy play here for tier 5, where we're picking Harris English. This is kind of the biggest shoulder shrug spot there. And then tier 6 for me, I'm going to be going with Taylor Moore. If you guys want to go with Chris Kirk, though, that's the biggest kind of question mark, because Chris Kirk does make a lot of sense. I think a lot of people are just going to naturally end up on him, so I think that's a small way to get a little bit unique compared to everyone else. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys want more fantasy golf coverage, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Do appreciate that. Hit the thumbs up on this video as well. If you guys want this for the next major or any other event that is popular for pools, let me know. I'd be happy to cover it. Thanks for watching, and as always, let's keep cashing.